Hello, my name is Maryann Ruiz, and I'm the mother of Mark Ruiz and the wife of Leonard Ruiz. We're going to start today. Mark wants to learn how to make tamales, and he wants to learn how to make chili. So I am going to be telling him what to do, and he's going to do it. Him and his dad are going to do it together. So just wish us luck, and hopefully it'll turn out good. This recipe comes from my mother. Part of it my mother, and part of it I changed it as the years went by because I wanted it spicier. But my mother's the one that started the recipe years ago, and she died at 96, so this was a long time ago. And after that, we started making them here at the house, and we'd make about 800 or so. So we could give them to all the family. We have a gathering of almost 40 people, so you can imagine. So everybody would take a dozen or two tamales home for the holidays, which was nice. So we've been having it here for how many years?
35 years.
35 years I've had my Christmas party here. Okay, so boys, let's start. First of all, we're going to start with the garlic cloves. I usually get the big ones because these are really good and juicy, especially if you love garlic. Then what we're going to do is they're going to take one garlic out, and then we're going to cut the garlic in half, okay? And then we're going to make incisions in the roast, little cuts in there, and stick the garlic cloves inside of there. Then they're going to spice it up with pepper, cumin, and garlic powder. They're going to put it all over, and from there we're going to put it in the crock pots, one in each crock pot. And we're going to cook them overnight so they can be nice and juicy. Thank you.
And this is the meat for the tamales.
And yes, this is going to be all into the meat after they cut the garlic.
And how many tamales are we making?
I don't know yet. We go about 4 dozen maybe, whatever comes out, because I'm not going to leave any meat.
Yeah.
If there's still some extra one, we're going to go all the way. We might end up with 700 tamales, I don't know, 7 dozen I meant. So anyway, so we're going to start the boys now, so thank you. Okay, this is the garlic I was showing you earlier, and what we're doing is we're breaking it apart, and then you peel the skin off of them, and then they're going to look like this, and then you cut off the edges where it's brown, and then you're going to cut it the long way. It still has some of this on here. Okay. Okay, you peel them about like this. About this thick here is good. Like so. So that's what we're doing with the garlic. Do a little bit more over here. Okay, and then you just push it aside, and I have a little bowl where you can just throw them in there. And then that's going to be ready for the meat. So this is going to be step number 2, is making incisions in the meat and putting the diced up. This one's a little bit thick, so I'm going to cut it a little bit thinner inside the roast. Sorry about that. So here goes the incision. You want it deep enough so that the clove will fit in there. Okay, so there we go. The clove is in there, and it's going to make it taste more juicier. It gives it the nice garlic taste. And then I'm going to go to the side here, do this again, and you can eat the garlic actually after the meat is cooked and everything. The garlic will also be really nice and tasty, so you can actually eat the garlic after that if you want. Okay, you keep making the incisions. Putting the clove in there.
Okay, and then we're going to do the entire loaves.
Yes, you're going to do both loaves, and then once you're done with the top of the loaf, you can turn it upside down and do some of the bottom loaf too.
Okay. So
some people do this, and some people don't do this when they're making tamales. I have a sister that she made tamales, but she doesn't do this. So it's up to you how tasty you want it. And I like cloves. I like garlic. So what I will do is turn it around this way, do it sideways, this way. Okay.
So we're gonna finish preparing these loaves, and then we'll come back
Yes.
for the seasoning.
Yes.
How big is that loaf? How many pounds?
And I got it on sale.
They're both 15 pounds.
They're both 15 pounds
Altogether.
altogether.
Okay.
So we'll see how many tamales we're gonna get out of 15 pounds of meat. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, now after the boys put the garlic cloves in the meat, you're gonna
Dad.
spice it up. So now we're gonna put some pepper, kind of just spice it up there. I was gonna put a rub. Oh, and let me tell you this.
Behind
You
that.
can use a rub if you want. They have rubs for pork that you can buy. And what you're gonna do is like, let me show you. Okay, this is called a rub. And they have some for pork, they have some for chicken. And what you can do is you rub it in like this. You rub it really good inside. I'm not gonna do it this time. For now, we're gonna stick with the pepper. So you want plenty of pepper. And then you do this one. Shut up. Then you're gonna turn this around after I put the cumin. Oh, could you get me the salt, please?
Oh, yes, I could.
And then we're going to use the garlic powder. You can't forget the salt. I forgot to take the salt out. Okay, like so.
Did you want the lights?
No, should be on the other side of it. I got it. Now I'm putting, excuse my husband, okay? Now I'm putting some salt in here. Okay? Then I use the garlic, the cumin. Then you're going to turn it upside down.
And do the same thing. That's it. Just do it. Just do
And then you're going to put the salt.
the same thing to this side. Oh!
He is bugging me, folks. Okay, then you put the cumin. You're going to do the same thing that you did on the front of it. Then you do the garlic powder on here. You want plenty of it because the flavor, you lose the flavor when you crock pot something. So let me get the sides. He only has one day to live, that's it. Okay. Okay, that's it for the spice. Now I'm gonna have the boys do the other one. Thank you.
So what are we gonna do with them after we season them?
You're gonna put them, we have 2 crock pots. Can you please get me the crock pot, sir? And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna move all this over here. And just put one right here for now, sir. And you're gonna put the fat side that you guys noticed here, the fat side, that's the good stuff. You're gonna put it down. So it's gonna be with the fat down in the crock pot. And that's all to it when the garlics fell off.
And then you're gonna turn on the crock pot on what?
On probably medium
For how long?
for a few hours. When I always check and see if it's done yet. So the crock pot will go until I turn it off.
So you think it'll go for 3 to 4 hours to cook?
Yes, definitely. It's gonna go maybe even more than that. It all
Okay.
depends. So anyway, so that's it for now for this part.
So after deliberating, she decided on
On high for 6 hours. And at that time, hopefully it's gonna be done.
for the learning impaired.
And it's always best to use an oval crock pot, not a round one because that won't fit in a round one. You need an oval.
Unless it's a huge.
They're very cheap at Target. Good morning. Today we're going to start with the tamales. Last night we cooked the tamales for about, I'd say, a good 7 hours in the big crock pot. You can cook it also in a pan with water if you want to keep an eye on it all day and cook it that way in a big pan. But so we got the meat cooked. So now we put the meat in this pan here. What we're going to do today is we're gonna shred the meat, and you got to shred it really fine. And then we're going to put the shredded meat in here so that we'll know what we shredded. We're going to use some extra salt. We're going to use some more garlic, cumin, crushed pepper, and then these are the chili pods that we're going to use. We're going to use the Mexico chili pods and the California. Right now I just have the California one, but I have the Mexico too. So what we're going to do is combine those. And then we're going to have some corn husk. And I always like to use the long ones, the big ones, and find the cleanest ones you can get. And that's what we're going to do today. So first of all, we're going to start shredding the meat and putting it in here. And that's our first thing we're going to do. That's step one.
So what does step one look like?
Well, step one is going to be grab the meat and you're going to shred it with your fingers like this. You want to make sure you shred it really good. And if you run into, have a trash can nearby. And if you run into something that say, like right here, there's fat. What you can do is just pull off the fat, throw it in the trash. I mean, you're going to get some fat in there, but that's going to be good fat. That's going to be mixed with the salsa and everything. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to shred it like this. And this is a tedious process, but once we do that, we're going to go to make the chili, and then I'll be showing you step 2 to this. But right now, what the biggest thing we're going to be doing is shredding the meat.
How long will that take, Mom, for those 2 loaves that we cooked?
For the 2
What's your guess to shred that meat?
If you have just doing it yourself, it's going to take a good hour, maybe. If you have somebody else doing it with you, it's still going to take maybe an hour. It's hard to say because I've never timed myself. I just automatically just do it, you know. But I was doing it at nighttime by myself, and it would take me by myself a few hours. But then the hard part is going to be the other step that we're going to be doing at the last there. So, but for now, we're going to just shred the meat. And after we're done shredding the meat, we'll take you to step 2.
Okay.
Okay, now this is shredding the meat. Make sure it's shredded. Every little thing is shredded. And if you see pieces in there that you didn't shred that good, then you need to grab them and shred them. Because this way, when you eat your tamales, it's going to be easier to eat than the other way, where big old pieces are going to be coming out. You want small little pieces like this.
And what kind of meat is that again?
It's
Pork shoulder.
And it came with a bone, and I still got plenty of meat, but it's cheaper if you get it with a bone, which is 99 cents a pound sometimes. But if you want it without a bone, you can also get it without a bone. But I still got a lot of meat, as you can see.
Is this 1 loaf or is this both loaves?
This is two.
This is the 2 loaves right here? Okay.
The 2 roast, yeah. So this is a process that's going to take a while. If you do it right, it's going to take you a while, because you can see what I have to do. You know, every little thing has to be torn off like that. And that's how you do it.
Cool.
Okay, this is Mark and his dad are starting to shred the meat now. And as you can see, they're trying to shred it as fine as they can, and then this is going to take a while. This is a long process, so I'll be able to do my own thing.
Are you trying to say we're slow?
No. And what I'm saying here is they don't want Mama to do anything. So
Okay.
what I'm doing is I'm gonna relax and do what I do.
He used to pick cotton, so he's
Yeah,
an unfair advantage.
Yeah, Leonard used to pick cotton, his dad, so
I'm
he's
proud of
really
the fact
good
I
at
was the best cotton picker in the family.
Let's talk about picking cotton now, hon. How long did you pick cotton?
Well, I was when I was very young, could walk, basically, and until I was a teenager, I picked cotton, and I wish I could pick cotton now.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out there. Did you used to also work at a turkey factory?
Okay, enough of that.
He used to take all
I'm proud of my heritage.
Okay, so this will take a process, so we'll check on them in a little while when we start doing the next
Make
process.
it a long while.
Just
Okay.
let it record for a minute.
Okay. So you can see what they're doing now. You guys can.
Oh, that's garlic. I thought that was fat. I was like, what is that? And the garlic popped out.
Eat it. Eat it. Eat
Yeah,
it.
right.
It's delicious cooked. Eat it.
Delicious.
Yeah. And what you can do with the garlic is you can cut them up. Maybe you separate the garlics that you find, and then cut them up and put them in the meat.
And put them in there.
You know what?
What were you gonna say?
I need to sit down. This is getting my back.
Give me another kiss. Give me another kiss. You're not a rabbit, you're a deer. What is this? No.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're just having a little fun here. But the boys shredded the meat and they did a great job. I even left so they could do it by themselves. Now, the pot is full of the fine shredded meat that you saw them shredding. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I fill 1 sink up with hot water. And then what we're gonna do is first of all, I have California chili pots. And I have 2 bags because I want it spicy, but I want to be able to spice it up myself. So I have 2 bags of California and I have 1 bag of Mexico chili pots. And the thing is, I have my sink over there. The first one I'm going to have with hot water for the chilies. The pods need to get softened. And I'm going to also have a pan boiling with water, because once I clean them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw them in the boiling water for them to get even softer. But what you're going to do cleaning them is you're going to put them in the hot water, and what it will do is, these are clean. Let me get you in the bag. This is the chili that I have in hot water in the sink. And what it does is it softens, it's not soft yet, but I have it in there and I keep changing the water to get hot all the time. And what it happens is it starts softening up to the point where you could remove the stem, okay? The stem. And if you want the tamales to be really hot, you can leave the seeds in there. If you don't, what you're gonna do is you're gonna open them up like this. You probably need a close shot of that. And
We'll get it overhead.
okay. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna remove the seeds like this. You're gonna remove the seeds.
So you're saying the more seeds you leave in, the hotter the tamales.
It'll be more spicier, but I've always done it, the spice part myself. So what I do is I remove the seeds, and if they're a little bit stay in there, that's fine. So, but the hot water is just so you can see how easy the stem was removed, because these were pretty hot, softened. But I'm still gonna put it in a pan, and I'm gonna put the water to boil right now, so that way I can put the chilies that I cleaned in here, and then they're gonna be boiling. So they're gonna get really soft in order to put it in my blender. Still need to be softened more, so you can tell they're pretty hot. So the stems are hard to take off when they're not soft. Okay, and then this is the seeds, and you're gonna remove the seeds. And that's just so it's not real hot. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have boiling water over here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the chilies that I have cleaned in the boiling pan and let them till they get really soft before I put them in the blender. Okay. Now the pods that I'm using, it depends how many tamales I'm making. I bought 2 of California and 1 of Mexico. That means that I'm not going to make a whole bunch of tamales, but maybe 4 dozen, 5. I don't know how many's going to come out with the meat I bought. But when we use 4 of the 15 pounds of meat, that's a lot of tamales. Then you have to use more chili. And as you make them through the years, you're going to know how much you need for how many, for the meat and everything.
Landa, which chilies are hotter, the California pods or the Mexican?
The New Mexico pods are the hottest ones. That's why I got 2 California and 1 Mexico. And another thing too, what I do when I clean out the seeds out of there, I like to use my own crushed pepper, because that's what's in those chilies is more or less crushed pepper. And what you do is you can put it according to your taste, what you like. And I like doing it myself, so that's why I do it.
So if you wanted mild ones, you'd use all California and don't add any crushed pepper.
Right. If you wanted just mild ones, you can still use probably some of the Mexico, maybe have a bag. It's not going to make it hot. No. But it'll be a little bit spicy, but not hot. Anybody can eat them. But what I did is I got 2 California and 1 New Mexico. And like I said, if I didn't get enough New Mexico, I will use my crushed pepper to make it hotter, because my husband likes hot tamales.
And you'll just go by the taste.
Yeah,
when
I
you're
go by the
when you're
taste.
cooking the meat up.
After I put the pods in the blender, I mix them up, and guess what? Then I start putting the salt, the cumin, and the powdered garlic, and then this, because that's going to tell me how hot it's going to be. Because I start making the sauce in the blender, adding it there, and you're going to keep, because you want a lot of sauce. Because if you don't use enough sauce, then you get dry meat, and you don't want that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to keep cooking these chili pots, like I told you, in the hot water, and then boiling them, and softening them up, and then putting them in the blender, and then that's when you're going to spice everything up, is in the blender. Because that sauce that you make in the blender is what's going to give the more taste to the meat. Okay, this is when I clean I put a bag of California and half a bag of Mexico right now, and see how far we get with that. And what I'm doing is I'm adding hot water. I mean, so hot that you can barely touch it. But what it's going to do is it's going to soften the chili so that you can take the tops off. There you go, see? But before I even do this, what you got to do is you got to take all this stuff while these are dry. You got to take all the seeds out of there and everything. And once you do that, like these right here, see the seeds can be cleaned while in the sink like this. Okay? Then they're going to go.
So it's after you soak them, then you clean the seeds out.
Yeah.
You take the stems off and clean the seeds out in the sink.
And then you're going to put them in here, and those are going to go in the boiling water. If you have somebody helping you, you can have them start putting them in the boiling water. But for right now, you're using this water here to clean the chilies, like so. And then I got to get some more. Give me some more, hon. Over there. Okay. Just going there. Okay, and you take these off. You don't want to put the stems in there, but you can kind of wash the seeds off of it. And then see this part here, you can take that off. And while this is going on, my husband's been putting them in the boiling water. And once he puts them in the boiling water, they're going to be ready for blending, because you want to blend it pretty well.
So you want them soft to go into the blender.
Yeah. Make sure you get some nice chili pods. Depends where you buy them at. Some of the people have real awful ones where you don't get a lot of sauce out of them. You want to go to hopefully a Mexican store where they have all this stuff. Usually they have pretty good stuff. thing about tamales is you can make them sweet, or you can make them with chicken. Whatever you want to put in there, you can add instead of the pork meat. If you like chicken, you can dice your chicken and spice it up and add that. Or if you like hot chili, you can make hot chili and then you can put that in there with, but don't make it watery. The chili needs to be kind of together so it doesn't make a mess. But you can also put chili and then put a stick of Monterey cheese or Monterey Jack cheese in there, and then you can have cheese tamales. Okay, now that we cleaned out the chili pods and they're boiled and they're soft, we're going to put them in a blender. So just take them out of here, kind of rinse them off a little bit. I like to use these probes, whatever you call them.
Prongs?
Prongs, yeah. Put these in here, like so. You don't want to make a mess, you can put your blender over this thing. Now the thing is, you don't want to fill it all the way to the top because you want there to be room for the water that you're going to put in there. Because then, if you fill it all the way to the top, what happens? You don't have enough moisture and the chilies aren't going to be able to blend. And you're going to be using water for that. So now I'm going to put some water in here. Now what I did is I put enough water to cover all the chilies. Okay, if I need more, I'll add more, but right now, because you don't want it real watery either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to here, and make sure you cover them because you'll have chili all over the walls. Okay, like so. And then you're going to put your blender on blend. Okay, now that's blending all the chili. In there in the blend so they don't get over soft. Okay? And then you can start putting more chili in there. Okay. Then you turn it off once you see that it's blended pretty good. Now I'm going to add some spices. I'm going to add the cominos. I'm going to use the garlic powder and some salt. And I'm going to spice it up. I have 2 blenders because that's going to make it easier for us. That way we can do 2 at a time instead of 1 at a time, which takes longer. So what I'm going to do, okay, and as you can see, my husband's using 2 pots because that way the work will be less work if we use 2 that are doing the boiling of the pods instead of 1. Okay, so this one over here, these pods are ready too. So what I'm going to do is put the other pods in the other blender so that my husband can start putting these over here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some salt. And like I said, it's all in how you like it. Some people like it salty, some people like it salty, some people don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to add salt, and it takes quite a bit of salt to make it even get a taste. Okay, so what I'm doing is stirring it. I'm going to put cumin in here, and like I said, I can't really measure it because I go according to taste. So I'm going to put some in there, the other side. Okay, then I'm going to put some garlic. I love garlic powder. Quite a bit. Okay. Now I'm going to stir it. And not only are you going to spice it up in the blender, but after we pour the sauce into the meat and we get enough sauce in there to get it going, where it's going to be real moist, we're going to start adding more flavor there, even then. So this is more or less right here.
She's making us wear these antlers, by the way.
Yes, I think they look cute, don't you? Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more. And right now, the sauce doesn't taste that hot. So, guess what? I'm going to add a little bit of my crushed pepper. Because a little bit goes a long ways on this thing. Okay? Because I like to taste that little twang there. Because I can't eat tamales real hot either, but so I make sure that I don't make it too hot where I can't eat them. Then you stir it again. Then you taste it. About right there is perfect. I'm going to have Mark taste it right now. Oh, and another thing, it might taste a little bit salty, but once you put it in with the meat and you cook the tamales, you don't taste the salt as much. So remember that. Don't be afraid to add salt, but don't over salt them. So Mark, can you do me a favor of tasting the sauce that I have right here, right now? Okay, I'm going to have Mark taste it.
Very excited.
You should taste a little twang there, just a little twang.
A little twang like that. It's terrific.
Okay, it's terrific. Okay, and that's how I make the sauce. Okay, now we're going to start putting, we went through the process of the pods, cleaning them, boiling them until they get soft, and then blending them, and then spicing it up with salt, garlic powder, and if you want, you can use pepper. And I use the salt, cumin, garlic powder, and then I use some of the, where's my crushed pepper at? Put it back in here?
It's right there, Mom.
Where? Oh.
Don't pour it in yet.
No, I'm not. And
Don't pour any sauce in there.
Okay, and I use the crushed pepper also, some of it, because we want a little tang out of it, but not, if you pour too much, it's going to be too hot. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start making the meat, putting the meat in kind of layers. You want to get it in layers. You don't want to put all the meat in the pan and then stir it. You want to do it in layers so that all the meat will get moisturized and they'll get all the flavor of the chili. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this chili, as you can see in here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stirring it. You want to make sure that all your meat gets the sauce. As you can see, you have to kind of dig underneath and everything, making sure all your meat is getting the sauce. And as you can see, we're going to need more sauce. So, because I want to make sure the first layer gets a little sauce. So, we got 2 of these together. So I'm going to put some more sauce on there. It's better, more sauce than not enough sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and pour all of them in there. Okay, see that? Now you're getting the sauce in there. So you blend it really good, because if you get the meat from underneath the pan, see it's still dry down there. So you want to make sure you dig underneath. You can use your hand also. Sometimes hands are actually better, but I'm using a spoon right now. Just don't use a blender. So what you're doing is I'm trying to get all that meat full of sauce. Okay. Now that looks pretty good right there. You have your husband or somebody stronger than you, it's always good to get somebody that, like say Mark. Mark can probably do a good job of stirring it. Okay? So, get this up pretty good. And I use 2 of the sauce in both blenders for this right here. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put the next layer up here. You pour the next layer,
And
which
we're
is
gonna
all the meat.
continue the process.
And we're gonna continue the same process. I'm gonna put these back, put more chilies to blend, spice them up, and then pour them in the meat. So what we did is we blended the sauce, and I have sauce, you might have some left over, which for me it's good because I make enchiladas from fresh sauce anyway, so we have that extra sauce to use during the week. Okay, now the problem with this is you don't want to leave the sauce out for an hour, 2 hours like that. Your sauce will get bitter and it'll get bad. So what you want to do is you want to put it in containers, which I'm going to do right here. Put it in a container. And then put the cover on it and refrigerate it right away. That way you can use it whenever you want to, because if you don't do that, your sauce will get bad. And you don't want to do that. So, and the meat,
So
as you can see, it got very nice and full of sauce and everything.
show it again, Mom.
Okay. The meat got really nice and full of sauce and everything right here. Okay? Very moist. But you don't want it runny. You want it moist. So that's going to be with years of practice that you're going to know what's moist and what isn't. You won't be able to see the whiteness of the meat because it'll be covered with sauce. And then after this, I'm going to spice it up again. Once we finish stirring it, and we're going to spice it up again to make sure we get that. Now we're going to be going to the.
Go ahead and spice it up.
Okay.
Why don't you taste it before you start seasoning it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. There.
Why don't you let
Get
Dad
ready.
stir it, Mom?
Honey, you want to taste it? Doesn't have that zang. Where's the chili?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Why don't you let Dad stir it when you season it?
Okay. Go ahead and stir it, huh? I'm going to add more salt here. And I'm going to add more of this. Garlic powder. And more cumin.
Could you use garlic salt if you wanted to?
Yes, you can use garlic salt if you want to. Okay, my chili. Here we go. Now, we didn't have much of a zang, so we're going to add more chilies here. So we want a zang there.
Or zing.
Hmm?
Or zing.
A
Do
zing.
Zang is better than zing.
you want me to stir it, Dad?
No, I got it.
I'll do it for a little bit.
Let him do it, huh? I want him on the movie also. Okay, I'm going to finish.
Ay, míralo, movie. El movie star aquí. Telemundo.
Yeah.
Be ready for your new star.
Okay, I'm going to spice this up. Ah, I can taste the spice now.
Great.
Okay, you're going to feel the zing after the taste, usually. So, taste it. You taste it, Mark. You'll feel it right
No.
now. Yeah, you will.
No.
Hold on.
Nothing.
Hold on.
No zing, no
Hold
zang,
off.
no cow,
Hold off. Hold off.
no boom.
Hold off. Just wait a second. You should be feeling it. Huh? Come and taste this because I don't
I
want
don't
to
feel
over
anything.
spice
I don't
it.
know what she's talking about.
Is the-
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You taste the zing?
I mean,
Landa,
if you're looking for a hot taste, it's a flavorful taste. It's not a hot taste.
Chef Landa,
Mm.
the sous chef here says he tastes the zing.
Yeah.
It's not a really hot taste. There's a little bit.
I can add some more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't put any more of the garlic or whatever.
Good, good.
Okay, switch them
I would add a little more zing to the zang, but why? I'm just a ranch hand at this point.
I know. Hold on.
You want to taste it again, Mom?
Yeah. Honey, come and taste this. It'll be all gone by the time you taste it.
The sous chef.
Now, how do you think as far as sauce, hon? Do you think it needs more sauce?
The only thing I would add is just a hot pepper,
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
the crushed pepper,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because everything else is fine. But we want to be careful that we don't add so much that when Denise tastes it, oh, this
Yeah.
is hot.
Has Denise eat hot stuff? 'Cause I don't know. Not a lot, Mark. Not a
Nah.
lot. I should have done that.
Then what?
Put the chili
I
in
don't know
there.
what you're talking about.
You put the chili in there. I saw you. Get it back at Denise, hon. Better not get a kick, Mark. I don't want a kick, because all of that's gonna get more stronger when you cook them.
Good.
Honey, go taste it,
There'll be no kicking.
and then I'll taste it.
No kicking allowed.
What happened to my spoon?
This one? This one? This one?
No, this one.
I'll just go with what Mark has here. That's
Sous
okay.
chef?
That's fine.
No.
Mom?
Actually, I'm gonna put some more.
See? I knew it. That's what I said.
Alright.
Okay, we're gonna.
Honey,
What?
thank you for doing such a good job in cleaning the sink. I don't know how you did it. You did it different than me, but you did a better job. I used to go through a lot of trouble
Mom,
after that. Huh?
Come taste this.
Okay.
It's getting a little tiny bit of a
Spice, that's all you want.
twang. I don't know.
Yeah, you
Zing,
want the
zang,
twang. I had the twang
Zoom.
earlier, so.
pow.
Shit it, Mark. Let's see.
When you wait a minute afterwards, you taste it.
Yeah, that's what I told you, remember?
You did, and I tasted it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. They're ready.
Finally.
Okay. Now, what we're gonna start doing is we're gonna start filling the sink with hot water.
We're gonna start preparing the masa.
We're gonna start preparing the hojas for the masa. So we gotta soften these up because right now in the bag they're almost like paper. See how hard they are? So what we do is we put them in hot, and the water needs to stay hot all the time. If we have to drain water, put more hot water. You have to do that in order for these to start getting soft because you want to be able to work with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting them in here, like so. And hopefully you get some nice ones so that you don't have to be tearing them. Okay, and then you push them down. The water's pretty hot, so you might want to use a spoon again. Push them down. Okay. Then we're gonna soak these because we're gonna go to go buy some masa so we can start preparing the masa, which is time consuming. But you want to try, and then you might run into some of this little that comes off the corn husk. Is that what you call it? Little things. So you want to have something close by to clean them in case that happens. Then you soak it under here.
How long
Sometimes
will you
they're
soak
too-
them for, Mom?
I soak them until they get soft. So I have them soak in here until they get soft, and then what I do is I have, what happened to my strainer? Did that put that away?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I have a strainer here. I put it in the sink over here. And then what I'll do is when they're soft, I start putting them in here, and all the water will come off. You kind of straining them. And then from that, I'm gonna have a plate over here and another strainer here, so that we're gonna start putting the hojas on the strainer like this, and just start pulling off the soft ones. That way they'll be ready for spreading the masa. Okay? That's it. Okay, so let's do this. You want to make sure not to tear them, because they can tear real easy, and if you tear them, then a lot of times you can't even use them. And some of these sometimes come out so short, like this one, that I might have to use 2 of them, but I'll show you that later. For right now, I want to get them soaked, so while we're gone, we'll have these to soaking. Okay, now we're going to the next step as far as making the masa for the tamales. As you can see, this is about 20 pounds of masa. It should make probably about 5 dozen tamales. It all depends. You might need more if you want to make more tamales. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in here.
How much was that, by the way?
Huh?
How much was that?
20 pounds.
How
22.
much money?
$22.
$22?
$1.09 a pound.
$1.09 a pound. Okay.
And that's prepared masa.
It's got to be prepared. You don't want it not prepared.
And do you put more into it yourself?
What's that?
Prepared.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say right now. Even if it's after prepared masa, a lot of times they don't beat it as much. They have a machine that does it. So what we like to do is we want to make sure that we make it where it's nice and smooth. So what we're going to do is the drippings from the meat that we cooked, what was from the roast, the shoulder, pork shoulder.
The fat from it.
Yeah, more or less, the dripping. What we're going to do is we're going to add some of this to the masa. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep working it until it starts getting smooth. And the thing is, hon, can you bring me a cup of water, please?
Sure.
The measuring glass?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And then put water in it. Okay. Okay.
Here it is.
Okay. And the thing that I've learned through the years while making the masa, my mother always said, when you grab a little bit and you put it in the water and it floats, that's when it's going to have enough shortening in there and stuff. And right now it's not floating.
Floating.
So we're going to work it, the dough, and put the drippings in there and work it more until it floats on the water. And when it floats on the water, it's done. Okay. Now, what we're doing is we're
So remember the fat from the roast?
yeah. And then we're using the fat from the meat. And that makes it more flavorful and makes it more smoother.
By the way, the fat doesn't smell good. That's normal.
So as you can see, you have to get it really nice. And
Hey, Dad. Will you put that measuring cup? Never mind.
the measuring cup right here. And what we're going to do is throw a little bit. If I can even get it off my glove. Normally I don't wear gloves. It's all up to the individual.
It makes it easier to clean. Here.
Wait a minute, it's not floating. No, I would have floated like that. That's too big of a piece, Mark.
Maybe we should use a spoon.
Excuse
for
me.
that.
And my mother always used to use her hands and stuff, so I'll probably end up taking these gloves off and using my hands. Because I can feel it. You can feel it better, actually. I'm going to use my hands. Okay. I'll
They're
wash
washed.
the gloves.
I think.
Yes, I always wash my hands. Okay, this way I can feel
Te lo digo.
I can feel it.
Check mine, Mom, or see if I need more fat, because that's pretty well stirred.
Yeah, you need more. Sometimes I use not only the fat, but I use the shortening also to make it nice and smooth.
Is that Crisco shortening?
Yes. Crisco shortening.
We're not sponsored, you can't say Crisco. It's shortening.
Okay.
I see you have a professional photographer handling the camera.
Yes, we have a professional today who
My
came
nephew
all
is
the
here.
way
Yes.
from Hollywood.
Hello, Chris.
Hey.
Hello. He's been working production for many, many years.
Many,
For many minutes
Yeah.
now.
Many minutes, yeah.
Okay, hon, bring out the Crisco, please.
Oh, fanfare.
Crisco, por favor.
Here comes the
I
Crisco.
want to see if my masa's floating yet.
Here,
Go ahead and check it.
I
here
need
it is.
it.
You want a spoon?
Yeah, Dad, will you spoon it for me?
Here.
Because my hands.
I got it.
You got a spoon, huh?
You can't get it on there. Right?
There.
Drop like a rock.
I know, that's why. More than that, huh? I need more
Are
than
you
that.
sure?
Yes, I need more than that. A little bit more than that. And then get some to Mark too. Okay.
You're gonna have to take it off, or I can.
Here, honey.
I'll do it.
No. I'll do it. You want some more in there?
Yeah,
She's the
Yeah.
boss, man.
give me some more, huh?
Really?
Just do what I tell you, Mr. Ruiz. He's my husband, he helps us a lot.
He's the sous chef.
Okay, now,
All right,
you drop some on the floor,
we're
baby.
in.
I couldn't have.
Okay, make sure you break all that shortening up. Don't just make it one-sided. That means you gotta really run that muscle around. Okay, come on. Up. Up.
No way. You drop like a stone. There's no way. If you got this to float, we're all gonna die.
See how it feels kind of grindy? Normally, I don't accept grinding masa, but that's the way they made it this time, so I don't have a choice. Give me some more shortening, please.
It's gonna be 50% shortened.
Yeah, something's gotta float. We'll float if they throw us in the water.
Let me pull out just a little bit.
Go ahead.
Are you using your finger too?
How many Mexicans does it take to make masa float? That's the question of the day.
Let's see.
Practically had to dive in there to get it. Nothing, man.
It's floating right there.
Oh, míralo.
Let me see.
It's floating.
Míralo.
There's a
Where?
portion that was
Where's it?
floating.
Yeah, but it
Why
has
is
to
floating?
it has to come all the way up. Empty that water and put new warm water in there. It's got to come all the way up. Floating is all the way up. Honey,
Add some
What?
salt.
use the,
So it's how they prepped the masa is the reason why it's not floating.
it's prepared.
It's how they prepared it.
I'm using a mixer. If you're not making a lot of masa like we normally do, we normally use a lot more than this. You could actually use a blender and maybe use that instead of your hands after a while. Your hands will get tired.
You mean a mixer, right?
A mixer, I'm sorry. Thank you, son.
Right here.
We have to wear gloves.
Right here. Nice.
Hey, look! It's
Look.
floating, look! Look! So this is already prepared because the masa is floating. Now the husks are softening here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them in here because they're beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So these are the finished product here. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna empty this water because if we start some more, we're gonna have to put more hot water. So all these are done. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a plate, a big plate, hun. Give me a big plate. gonna do, there still might be a little bit of water on there, so what you wanna do, and do you have a little bowl I can use too? A bowl
Those are
then?
dried out there.
Oh,
Yeah, I know,
those are
but
dry?
she's showing how to
Okay.
do it.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put a plate underneath, or you can put it in a bowl, doesn't matter, because if you got too much water, the plate will overflow. And that's what you're gonna do with the husk.
In order to get the excess water out of them.
Yeah, don't tear them though, don't tear them, don't
No,
do
I'm
it
not
so,
tearing them.
because they tear real easy, huh?
I get the excess water that way.
Okay. So all these are done. All right. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna start making the tamales. So far, the time is, what time is it, hon?
It's 4:30.
4:30, so this is an all-day job. Okay, now, you notice the length of the hoja. This is a good length, okay? Sometimes they come in little tiny pieces. Like this is not wide enough. So what you have to do is you have to add another piece to it, like this. You put it over this one. So you're gonna use this as one hoja, like this, okay? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, this is our tamale, tablespoon, spread it. Spread it here. If you get too much, you can always put it back. Because you don't want a lot of masa. You want it to be nice and a thin thing of masa. A lot of times people try to sell them, so they put a lot of masa and no meat. And those are not good tamales. So now, I'm putting some meat on there. Okay, and then you do that. And another thing we didn't do yet, which we should have done, and I forgot, excuse me, but I was going to put some chili in there. I haven't done that yet. So, this is enough right here. I'm going to put a little bit in the masa. What you're going to do is you're going to just kind of, it's not a matter of masandoing it, because you already did that. What you're going to do is just move it around to get the color into the masa. Like this. That's all you want is some color. Just for a little flavor. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to start putting the tamales here once we make them. After you get about a dozen, you can start putting them in here. And the way you're going to put them is like this. You're going to put 6 like this, and then 6 more on top. And the top ones, did you put them upside down?
4 and 12.
Huh?
We'll show a finished product.
We'll show a finished product after we're done.
So your
Right now-
intention right now is to make them and freeze them, right?
Yes, we're going to make them and freeze them. If we would have made them early in the morning, we could have cooked them too, made them and cooked them. Because you can cook them as long as they're like this, you can cook them right away. What we're going to do is, since it's late, we're going to make them and then Christmas morning, Christmas Eve morning, I'm going to get a big olla, a big pot, and I'm going to start putting a steamer in the bottom. And then I'm going to start piling them up, standing up all the way around like this. I can get quite a few in there. Okay. Put it on like this, spread it like this. See, when you've been doing it for years, this has become just easiest. Yeah, it's easy to do it this way. And you're already, once you get it prepared here, good. But you didn't get nothing over here.
That's going to be the folded on top part.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to do it the way I tell you or don't do it at all. You have to go all the way over here. Okay?
The boss is getting mad.
Well, you want to do tricks, and right now I'm trying to teach you the way it's done. Okay? Yeah.
Oh, I did the wrong
Oh, you
side.
did it. Throw it away. Give him one.
See, I did the wrong side.
Yes.
Masa spread on the wide side.
That's because he's not paying attention when Mom's telling him. See how easy that is when I do it with a spoon like this, Mark? It's so much easier.
I switched to a spoon.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm not mad at my son.
it's tough
folks.
being a reindeer in this place, man. Sheesh.
Santa
Okay.
is moody
There's
today.
a wolf among the deers.
Okay. See how wide this one is, Mark? This is what you call wide. So we're gonna tear some of it off.
Wide load.
Doing that on purpose. You're supposed to let it on your hand. Wait a minute. Let me show you.
How's that?
That's good. Spread a
You're
little bit
blocking
on the
the-
side.
She's blocking my shot.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
The tamale making team.